AEW Dynamite yesterday was very chaotic, but I think it was a good chaotic, but chaotic nonetheless. Okay, so I don't know if many people will see it from the lens that I'm looking at it because I'm fairly new to AEW. I've watched since Double or Nothing, and it's just... I'm a long-time wrestling fan. Been watching for about 37 and a half years, and I tend to still compare things to the Monday Night Wars, Monday Night Raw, and WCW Nitro. And I want to compare Dynamite last night to an era of Nitro that was really bad. The difference is, Dynamite was not bad. It was not bad, but it reminded me of the Vince Russo era of WCW, where there was just so much going on. But the difference was Vince Russo, he was just trying to, he would just throw anything against the wall. There was a method to the madness last night, but it was still just a lot going on. For someone who has ADHD like myself, I was not bored. I'll tell you that much. I was not bored at all. Because, for example, let's just break down this first match. So, it's Edge and Edge. He's always going to be Edge to me. I apologize. But Adam Copeland, whatever his name is, Edge and Christian, they're out and they're facing the Wheeler Yuta and the guy who does the thing with his hips of the Death Riders. Those guys are fighting, and one part... I like this. Christian was about to do the dance, and then he just flipped everybody off. That's great stuff, because everybody's like, ooh, we're going to get it, Christian. Christian's going to give us the dance, and then he flips us off. So Christian, who is kind of a heel and a babyface at the same time, it's like the heel thing to do is take away something that the audience wants, but the face thing to do is to give us something that we want as well. So Christian is very good, honestly, very low-key good at being a heel and a babyface at the same time. Not even a tweener. He's legit a heel and a babyface. We had the Bucks. They were in the stands at one point, watching the match and kind of just smiling. I guess we have a friendly rivalry going on right there. Eventually, Edge wins, right? Edge and Christian, they win. They beat the Death Riders. Then suddenly the Dogs and the other members of the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli and I think Pac, they just attack. And it's are the Dogs now with the Death Riders? No, it's just they're just attacking. But then you get the Bang Bang Gang. They come and attack. While all this is happening, the Bucks they're just gone. They don't care. They were like, yeah, we're friendly with you guys, but then when you're getting beat down, nah, whatever. And they kind of just run away. Not even run away, they just walk away. They don't come and help Edge and Christian at all. So now they're getting beat up, but the Bang Bang Gang, they come out, and then they start fighting. I can't even remember what happened to Claudio Castagnoli. At some point, Jay Lethal gets the shillelagh from the Dogs. I forget David Finlay, I think his name is. I know it's Fit Finley's kid. He gets that shillelagh. He gets those guys to run off. And then Christian turns around and he thinks that he's about to be attacked by Jay Lethal. And he's like, what are you doing? And those guys are already mad at each other. And Jay Lethal's like, I'm not going to hit you. And Christian doesn't believe him. So Christian walks away. And Edge is like, come on, what are you doing? While David Finley's just yelling, give me back my shillelagh. I don't know what just happened. I don't know who was on whose side. What? There were so many people here. And I actually enjoyed it. I hope you don't get the impression that I didn't like it, but it was just there was a lot going on. I felt like it was a bunch of strobe lights going on. There was so much action happening. But I liked it. That's the moral of that story. And that was Dynamite last night, just all over the place. But again, being that I've only watched for a couple weeks, I have seen threads throughout the shows that would lead to this happening. I've seen the Bucks and Edge and Christian kind of like flirting with each other. I've seen the Dogs consistently going after the titles. I have seen, well, the Death Riders, I mean, I guess they wanted the titles just because why not? So, but then David Finlay and Jay Lethal, they've had problems. So, like, again, and Christian saying, I've got issues with that guy. So it wasn't just like, let's just make everybody hate each other so we can have a big multi-man match. It all made sense, and yet so much going on. So I liked it. I liked it. That was probably the worst. That was probably the worst summary of a match ever. But you know, that's what we do here on WrestleChop. We don't listen to other opinions. We just formulate our own. And sometimes it just comes out. It comes out chaotic, just like the segment itself. The Demand, I guess that's Ricochet's group. They beat down the Conglomerate. I thought this was funny because Ricochet's like, hey, don't worry, guys, I'm not gonna beat you up. And then someone else beat him up. Someone else attacked them, and then Ricochet's like, aha, told you I wasn't gonna beat you up. I didn't say they wouldn't. They haven't joined yet. Really like Ricochet, by the way. Just really like Ricochet. He is so much better in AEW than he was in WWE. Jake Doyle versus Andrade. This was a decent match. Andrade, like, I look at Andrade, I'm just so happy for the guy. He's just living his best life right now, and it's like, I think I said this on like last week or 2 weeks ago. Like, I haven't seen this guy this good, this over, ever, honestly. But, like, it's been 5 or 6 years that I've had zero interest in Andrade. And now here I am, like, how you know? How you know? You know how I know that I like Andrade? Because I pop now. I pop when the crowd pops. It's nice. It's nice. And I still like that Andrade's kind of, like, Andrade's a tweener. Now, Andrade's a tweener. I said Christian is both babyface and heel at the same. Andrade's a tweener. Some guy who can kind of do bad guy things but still be a babyface. And he won, and so now he's feuding for either the National or the Intercontinental. Not the Intercontinental, the Continental. Like, I get the belts confused. But Andrade won. That was the right call. Keep that push going. Keep that push going. He got a video segment too. He was on a boat. I'm on a boat. And so, yeah, I really hope. I know there's probably a lot going on with the long-term booking plans of the title scene, but I hope we can figure out a way to get Andrade into the world title scene. Like, the crowd is just behind him. The crowd has made this one happen, you know, faster than maybe Tony Khan was anticipating. That's a good thing. That's a good thing when a wrestler can get over faster than the promoter thought they would. So props to Andrade. Like, no way, no how did I think this guy was going to get to this level of success, because he was bouncing around for a minute. I was like, yeah, after his last time with WWE, I thought he was donezo, but what do I know, right? What do you know? What do I know? How you know? How you know? We're going to talk the Kenny Omega segment at the end of this video, maybe, or let's just talk about it now. Why the heck now? So Kenny comes out and he's like, I didn't know if I was going to do it, guys, but I did it. And then we had the Bucks come out. The Bucks came out. They gave Kenny the old new belt, because I guess the Triple B was on the one that Kenny Omega won from MJF. I was expecting MJF to come out at some point tonight, so I think that was a little bit of a miss. I wish we would have got something from MJF, even if it was a video package or a phone call saying, yeah, I'm just sick of everything and I'm the victim here. I'm not going to show up. I just wish we would have saw something from MJF. And I heard Adam Page actually re-debuted on Collision, so I was kind of looking forward to seeing Adam Page here tonight. So we didn't get that, so that was a little bit of disappointing. In fact, you know, maybe Adam Page should have came out instead of the Young Bucks. that actually might have been, I'm thinking about this because I wasn't watching when this happened, but I do know Adam Page lost to MJF under the same stipulation. And I also know that Adam Page is part of the Elite. B-E Elite. B Elite. Yeah, I'm thinking, I don't think it was bad that the Young Bucks came out. It was definitely okay, but I think maybe Adam Page might have been a better one to do it. I don't know. Either way, the Young Bucks came out, they gave him the flowers, totally fine stuff. Kenny Omega, I think is hit or miss on the microphone. I don't think he's ever going to cut like one of the promo of the year. But I've seen him do some like kind of like not good promos. But I think though that maybe that was just a bad first impression because lately his promos are getting better. Usually if he talks for 5 minutes, he's going to have 1 minute of that 5-minute promo is going to be a little, maybe on the lamer side of things. But overall, he probably cuts a good C+ promo. And last night was probably a B promo. So, like, fine stuff with Kenny Omega last night. No problems there. Then Will Ospreay comes out and he gushes over him. He made a Goku reference, which is appropriate because one time when I was watching AEW, it was like last year. I tried watching AEW last year too, and I watched it for about 4 weeks. And I had made the mention that I don't understand why everybody kicks out of all of the finisher moves. And somebody explained it to me that AEW is more like Dragon Ball Z, where it's just like power move, power move, power move, where opposed to WWE isn't like that. And believe it or not, the explanation that AEW is kind of more like an anime, it did help me get over my original criticism of we're not selling finishers or, just too many finishers. And I still have issues with it, don't get me wrong. Like last week, I didn't like Kenny Omega kicking out of one, but it seemed like everybody else did. I think I was like one of the only people who didn't like that. But that said, I really liked when he made the comparison with the Dragon Ball Z because equating AEW to anime allowed me to enjoy AEW more. That said, I was like, oh, are we just going to have another love fest? I'm really hoping that these guys can ramp it up, though. And then Kevin Knight came out. And it was weird because he dismisses Ospreay. Kenny says stay, and I'm waiting for something to happen, and nothing really happens other than we have Kevin Knight. He's talking to Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega says a lot of things. This is where Kenny Omega actually shined, when he kind of had Kevin Knight with him, and he was like, Kevin's like, I'm owed a title shot, and Kenny's like, no, you're not. You made that deal with MJF, and I'm glad they closed that plot thread because he's right. There was nothing that said that Kevin Knight got a title shot other than MJF's word. However, Kenny being babyface, like, I'm gonna honor it anyways because I see a lot of potential in you. Now, the big talking point, I guess, is that at the next PLE pay-per-view, with Kenny Omega, he is facing Kevin Knight, the Jet. I do like the Jet a lot. I like him a lot. I don't think that this is the right main event. And I know that that's not a new take. I know a lot of people are probably regurgitating that take, which is fine. But, I think it should have been, what's his name? The Death Rider. Jon Moxley. How did I forget Jon Moxley's name? Jon Moxley. Because I think of all the people, that is the only person that I can say, maybe Jon Moxley pulls out the win because of Jon Moxley's relationship with Will Ospreay. But we're not doing that. And I think that would have been the better play because it looks like there's already a triangle right now for the friendship of Will Ospreay. So maybe yes, we would have known for sure that Kenny Omega was not going to lose to Jon Moxley, but it could have disintegrated the relationship between Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, and then that could have allowed for the second half of their feud leading into Wembley for it to be more of, animosity between them as opposed to just friends for life. But The plus to Kevin Knight, though, is that he is going to get that exposure to the main event scene. You can tell that this guy is on the comeuppance. So, at one point, you gotta throw them in the main event. You gotta throw them in the deep water. And it's like, now Kevin Knight and Mick Foley, definitely different types of wrestlers. But at one point, I remember when Mick Foley started getting into the main event of pay-per-views, I was like, oh, no way. No way can Mick Foley win this. I just didn't see it at all. And I was right. Mick Foley didn't win. However, by putting him in main events, even main events I knew he had no chance of winning, eventually when we did put the belt on him, when we did make him a credible main event threat, I bought it. Because at some point, you just gotta do it. So, that said, this could be like that, where the Jet, yes, he's not beating Kenny Omega, all right? He's just not gonna do it. But by doing it here, we're kind of like setting something up like 8 months down the road. You get what I'm saying? Or like, I still would have done Jon Moxley. Because I want all guns pointed at the big All In as opposed to 8 months down the road. But I'm pretty sure Tony Khan knows what he's doing more than Chop, the guy who's watched AEW for 2 months. But call me Tony. I'll be happy to write for you for free. So Kenny Omega, this was hilarious though. This is why I like the Jet. Kenny Omega is like giving this passionate, you don't need Don Callis. He's like, I get it. I bought into his rhetoric before, but you don't need him, man. You're good. You're great. You're amazing. I want to face not the Jet, or I want to face Kevin Knight. I want to face the guy who has all the potential in the world, not the guy who's listening to Don Callis. And then the Jet's like, yeah, and then he just punches him. He just punches him. I was a little worried that we were going to go from Love Fest, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega to Love Fest, Jet, Kenny Omega. But we didn't, because the Jet just beat him up. Well, it punched him and knocked him down, which was great. Then Will Ospreay attacked him. He kind of goes out. He runs away, but then Darby Allin attacks him. And great stuff. Just great stuff right there. I love that Kevin Knight attacked and punched him. We will have, who's the Karate Kid? The Karate Kid guy. Speedball. Speedball says to him later, the Jet, he's like, hey man, just come back. We'll forgive you. I don't know. Like, I am starting to like Speedball. Like, I don't know why. The guy is a dork, but he's like, he is like the Karate Kid, or I don't know what it is. He's so goody two shoes. He makes me want to throw up, but at the same time, I'm starting to like him. I'm kind of like he's like the I don't know what it is. He's just so innocent. He's like a little puppy. I wanna hide him from the world so the world doesn't corrupt him. Liking that Kevin Knight just keeps like, yeah, whatever, dude, whatever, get away from me. Bandino and Brody King, they fought two guys that I'm like, oh god, here we go. These guys are two jobbers, probably gonna have a 20-minute match, and then they beat him in like 2 minutes. I was like, yeah, I liked that actually. I liked that it was a quick match. And then Bandino, this is what I didn't understand though. So Bandino then gets some like a wanted poster from him, goes in the back. Kyle Fletcher's talking, and he's like, he gives him the wanted thing, and he walks away. Kyle Fletcher's like, oh, what was that about? He didn't attack him. He didn't do nothing. Then Kyle Fletcher goes and has an amazing match. Holy cow. Who is that Commando guy? That Commando guy, I think this match, like, I think a lot of people were impressed with Kyle Fletcher. He did a great job, but, like, holy cow, that Commando guy? Like, that dude was doing insane. He was insane. I remember it looked like he messed up a move, but it went into another move. I can't even say what this guy was doing. It was so great. Like, definitely go do yourself a favor and go watch that. And Commando lost, but the thing was, at some point, Bandito comes back out and attacks Kyle Fletcher. And I'm like, well, why is Bandito attacking Kyle Fletcher? I mean, if he wants the title, he wants the title, but he interrupted Kyle. Kyle didn't do nothing, and now Bandito's attacking him. So I thought that was a little weird, but at the end of the day, like, I'm just, like, still amazed by the Commando thing. I'm going to rewatch that one, because, boy, howdy, that was crazy. That was an insane match. Another insane thing, Darby Allin, guy's a nut job. He's facing the Machine, and Cage? No, is it Brian Cage? Cage, whatever. The Machine. He threw Darby Allin. Darby Allin just like bonk the ring post. Darby Allin is Mick Foley. He's the modern day Mick Foley. Like, geez Louise. Like, I know he teamed up with Sting for a while, but he's more Mick Foley than anything. God, it's so weird. Sometimes, like, those guys that will do the most, they will never get injured. He'll probably never be injured, while other people will, like, they'll look at someone the wrong way and pull a hamstring. It's like Darby Allin, man. He won. The main event match was Mercedes Moné, Dominion versus Willow, the World, Maya World, and somebody else. I apologize, I don't remember. I liked Divine Dominion, how they had their titles, like, it was weird how they came out with their titles. It was like, kind of like, it was like a belt, right? Like, it was almost like the belt, like, if this was their waist, their belt, I'm just making this up on the spot, I don't know if you can even see this, the belt was hanging like this, and I just thought that was a really cool way to hold the belt. I've never seen that before. AEW always does little things here and there that I've never seen before, and I really liked it. I was like, I don't know if Mercedes Moné is, like, officially aligned and they're now a faction or not. I don't think that this match should have went on last. I was kind of like, if it would have ended with the Darby match, I think that would have been the perfect ending. But we went on and did another match. I don't think that the Mercedes match was bad by any means. It's just, I think we should have just done it earlier in the night. But jam-packed wrestling, jam-packed. I don't like that Tekla wasn't there. Where's Tekla? Where is Tekla? She is so good. I don't understand why we don't give Tekla 5 to 8 minutes every single show. She is so freaking good. And you know that it's going to be Willow versus Willow versus Mercedes at All In, and it's kind of a shame because Tekla has a lot of personality, and I wish there was more of a cloud of doubt there. And I wish she was getting more TV time. How many chops would I give yesterday's Dynamite? I'm going to give it an 8. Honestly, I'm going to give it an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you, maybe a 7.8 or an 8.2, in that range right there. I enjoyed myself. It went by boom, 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 boom. I don't remember all of it because it was more like boom, 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 boom. But, like, overall, like, I was not bored. I'll tell you that much. And that Commando Kyle Fletcher match, whew, boy howdy. Takeshita showed up for that, and so did Okada. So I wonder if we're going to do a triple threat between those guys. That'd be insane. That would be insane. Let's do like a couple hot takes and then end the video. Shinobi Sensei says all the All-In main events are cursed. We got MJF versus Adam Cole. Adam Cole retired. Swerve versus Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. Danielson retired. 3. We got Adam Page versus Moxley. Adam can never challenge for the AEW title again. And then we got Kenny Omega versus Ospreay. What will happen after this? Ooh, okay, that actually could be a story beat if maybe Tony Khan hasn't realized that yet, though, because, you know, the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, that was never planned. I think they got to like 5 or 6 before they realized, wait a second, we got ourselves an undefeated streak here. So, like, maybe Tony Khan doesn't even realize that there's some kind of, like, cursed story element they could maybe do there. And that could play into the future where it's like the monkey's paw. You get the biggest main event of the year, but one of you could suffer. I love AEW Pro Wrestling says, I'm going to miss the heck out of Chris Jericho when he retires because it's going to happen sooner than later. That's something I forgot. I guess the Painmaker Chris Jericho has returned. I'm not a fan of the Painmaker. It's not really bad TV, but it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like Tommaso Ciampa, I'd kind of rather just see him. It feels like he's just standing still next to Jericho, which is insane because Jericho's a legend. So I don't know what it is. I'm not excited about the Painmaker, but I don't know. It's there, you know. Maybe other people are. And not everything has to be for me. And Seven Night Samurai says, Kenny is champ with the black and gold and a better promo than he gets credit for. Authentic, creative, and off the cuff, and impassioned. Yeah, you know, I've seen him do bad promos, and I've seen him do really good promos. So I wonder if sometimes he has a script, and he's trying to remember it, and that's when it's like, not so good. But when he just goes off the cuff, I think that's probably when he excels. All right, boys. All right, girls. If you're just AEW fans, I'll see you next Thursday. But if you're everything fan, well, then I'll see you tomorrow for my SmackDown stuff. See ya, bye.